Your car is choking on 40% of its own power, and I've got the shop receipts to prove it. Last week, a customer paid me $1,200 to fix what a 30-second trick could have prevented. After 20 years watching dealerships quietly milk drivers for billions, I'm done staying quiet. I'm exposing 17 underground car tricks your manufacturer buried on purpose to keep performance and profits in their hands, not yours. Stick around. The final trick costs $12, takes 5 minutes, and it's the reason my truck hit 387,000 miles without a single major repair. 1. The oil additive that breaks all the rules. Oil is the lifeblood of your engine, but even the best grades thin and lose protection over time. Manufacturers tell you never to add anything to modern oil formulations. Independent mechanics disagree. A high molybdenum friction modifier, like Liquimoly MOS2 or Z DDP additive, coats metal surfaces with microscopic film that resists wear, reduces friction, and lowers temperature. Engines treated with it often idle quieter, rev smoother, and maintain oil pressure longer between changes. One customer's old Corolla went from rattling at idle to whisper quiet after a single additive treatment. He drove another 40,000 miles without another timing chain tick. The reason manufacturers discourage it? Additives complicate oil certification and make factory oil look unnecessary. But in the real world, friction modifiers are the reason high-mileage engines keep running long after their paperwork says they shouldn't. Still, even the perfect oil and injector pattern can't fix a bad habit. Neglect. All 17 tricks will work only if the car is cared for. You just learned 17 tricks that cost under $100 total but prevent over $5,000 in repairs. Start with the throttle reset. Trick number 17 right now. Takes 30 seconds, costs nothing. I've used these exact methods on over 3,000 cars in my shop. Zero comebacks. But here's what nobody tells you. There's one maintenance trick that beats all 17 of these combined. Something so simple you can do it once a month in your own garage, yet so powerful it can literally double your engine's lifespan. On your screen right now, do this once a month and your engine will last forever. 2. The injector pulse trick. Injectors are precision tools, microscopic nozzles firing fuel thousands of times per minute. Over time, varnish coats their tips, changing the spray pattern from a fine mist to a dribble. You'll never feel it immediately, but your engine does. Uneven idle, slower acceleration, higher fuel use. Here's the trick most shops keep quiet. Instead of dumping a $15 bottle of cleaner into the tank, disconnect the fuel line at the rail, run the engine on straight injector cleaning solution for 5 minutes, then let it sit and soak for another 10. When you restart, it'll smoke, stumble, and then smooth out like silk. This method dissolves deposits directly instead of diluting them through the tank. It's exactly what professional injector service rigs do, except those cost hundreds of dollars. The effect is immediate: cleaner throttle, smoother revs, and sharper cold starts. Technically illegal because it involves running the engine on something other than gasoline, but it's perfectly safe when done carefully. Every serious tuner has done it. Most won't admit it, but fuel is only half the battle. The last real secret lies inside the heart of the engine, where friction steals power drop by drop. 3. The throttle response booster hack. Modern cars often have a built-in lag between pressing the pedal and actual engine response. It's intentional for emissions, comfort, and traction control, but you can override it. Enthusiasts use plug-and-play throttle controllers that intercept the signal from the pedal and amplify it. In sport mode, throttle opens instantly, removing that lazy delay that makes automatics feel dull. But the cheaper, illegal version is manual. After the ECU relearn, trick number 11, disconnect the battery again, press the gas pedal to the floor 10 times in succession, reconnect, and start the engine. This resyncs pedal voltage mapping and tightens throttle sensitivity. Every driver who's done it swears the car feels feels lighter, more alert, because it is. It's not a horsepower gain, it's a response gain, and that makes every drive feel like a tune-up. I hate to break this to you, but even perfect response means nothing if your fuel system isn't feeding the engine efficiently. And that's where the next set of illegal tricks, the final two, step into territory that even some mechanics won't admit they use. 4. The PCV system pressure hack. Your positive crankcase ventilation (PCV) valve regulates pressure inside the engine. When it sticks, oil vapors flood the intake and cause detonation, hesitation, and sluggish throttle. Instead of replacing it, many old-school mechanics install a small inline fuel filter in the PCV hose. It traps oil mist before it reaches the intake. The result? Cleaner valves, reduced carbon buildup, and steadier idle. The tiny filter costs $3 and snaps in place in 60 seconds. Dealers call it a catch can system and sell it for $150. The backyard version works just as well and keeps the engine breathing clean. You've seen some incredible ways to boost your car's performance, but what if I told you the absolute best is yet to come? The top 3 hacks are so unconventional, so powerful, they'll make you wonder why you haven't tried them sooner. Get ready, because these next 3 secrets are about to redefine how you think about your car. 5. The catalytic converter hack. Every catalytic converter builds restriction over time as carbon and ash coat the honeycomb inside. That restriction robs horsepower and fuel economy. Replacing the converter can cost $800 or more, but there's a trick to clean it without removing it. One customer was quoted $1,200 for a new Cat. This $5 trick fixed it instead. Add half a can of lacquer thinner to half a tank of gas, drive for 30 minutes at highway speed to get the exhaust piping hot, then let the car cool. The solvent burns through deposits and clears flow paths. Done once or twice a year, it restores exhaust efficiency and throttle response. It's not manufacturer approved, and environmental agencies would frown at the method, but it's the same chemistry used in cat cleaning shop services. I've seen stubborn check engine lights disappear mid-drive after this treatment. This is only one side of efficiency. To unlock real smoothness, you need to balance how your engine mixes air, fuel, and a little trick of pressure that most people never consider. Want to find out? But there's a simple hack that solves this. 6. The timing advance hack. Engines are tuned conservatively from the factory to tolerate poor quality fuel and driver neglect. That means ignition timing is usually retarded a few degrees from its sweet spot. Last month, saved a customer $800 in performance tuning with this simple adjustment. If your car allows manual distributor adjustment, rare but glorious on older models, advancing timing by just 2 degrees gives snappier throttle response and stronger low-end torque. For modern engines, a premium fuel reset works similarly. Run 2 or 3 full tanks of 91 plus octane and reset the ECU. The computer senses knock-free operation and gradually advances timing automatically. The result? Sharper acceleration, better fuel economy, and that silky pull you thought your car had lost years ago. It's technically illegal only because manufacturers certify emissions with stock timing maps. Change the map and you're outside their paperwork. But on the road, it's night and day smoother. Still, timing alone won't fix a motor that can't breathe properly through its last line of defense, the exhaust. 7. The ECU relearn cycle. Whenever you disconnect your battery or replace sensors, the car runs rough for a few days. That's because the ECU is relearning its fuel trims and idle control. But here's what most people don't know. You can force a perfect relearn. After reconnecting the battery, turn the key to on without starting. Wait 10 seconds, then start the car and let it idle untouched for 15 minutes. Don't press the gas, don't switch the AC. This steady state lets the ECU recalibrate air-fuel ratios, throttle position, and idle timing cleanly. Do this after every major service and you'll feel the difference. Smoother throttle, steadier idle, cleaner shifts. Dealerships call it a reprogram, charge $150 for it, and all they're doing is this same procedure. Calibration means little if the system it controls, your timing, is slightly off. This can cause a whole lot of complications. 8. The coil pack swap. Ignition coils are designed for specific engines, but here's the catch. Many across brands are interchangeable, and some are stronger. Performance enthusiasts often install slightly higher output coils from compatible models to improve spark stability and fuel burn. Example, certain Nissan and Infiniti coils share mounts and connectors, but deliver 10 to 15% stronger spark. Swapping them gives instant throttle crispness and more consistent idle. It's technically illegal because it alters the emission system, but the effect is immediate, cleaner combustion, and faster response. One Maxima owner gained smoother power delivery and a noticeable bump in torque with this simple cross swap. Total cost, $60 from a salvage yard. That same customer would have paid $400 at the dealer for OEM coils that do the exact same thing. See, spark and air are only half the story. The next trick tweaks something few people ever think about, the unseen math your ECU uses to control everything. 9. The water vapor trick. It sounds like an old mechanic's fairy tale. Pour water into a running engine and somehow make it better. But the water vapor trick, or water decarbonization, isn't just some myth passed around in dusty garages. It's one of those underground techniques that's been quietly circulating among old-school tuners for decades. And when done right, it can make an aging engine run like it's been given a second life. The concept is simple enough. With the engine fully warmed up and idling steadily, a fine mist of water is introduced into the intake. As that mist enters the hot combustion chambers, it instantly flashes into steam. The sudden expansion of that steam scours the interior, blasting away carbon deposits that cling stubbornly to piston crowns, intake valves, and combustion surfaces. Those deposits, formed over years of incomplete combustion, are like cholesterol in the arteries of your engine. They restrict airflow, lower efficiency, and make everything sluggish. But water, humble, ordinary water, turns into a micro sandblaster when vaporized under high heat and pressure. The process is violent in a microscopic way. Steam molecules wedge themselves beneath carbon flakes, lifting and softening them, sending them out the exhaust as sooty plumes. You'll often see it yourself. Thick black smoke billowing from the tailpipe as decades of burnt residue are expelled. The result? The engine breathes easier, idles smoother, and sometimes even feels like it's gained 10 horsepower overnight. Still, this is not a trick for the careless. Do it wrong, pour too much water too fast, and you risk hydro-locking the engine. Do this wrong, and you're looking at a $4,000 engine rebuild from Hydrolock. Liquids don't compress, and a cylinder full of water can bend a connecting rod in the blink of an eye. That's why seasoned mechanics stress the key is control. A fine mist, not a stream. A steady throttle, not a rev-happy roar. And patience, always patience. Those who've done it properly swear by the results. Engines that once rattled at idle settle into a quiet hum. Exhaust notes smooth out. Fuel economy ticks upward ever so slightly. And that stubborn carbon knock? Gone for good. Used this on a 200,000-mile Toyota last month. Owner said it drives like 100,000 miles ago. Even the cleanest combustion needs something else to make it truly efficient. A perfect spark. Because once the chambers are spotless, what good is it if the spark that ignites it all isn't firing with absolute precision? Still watching? Good. You're already ahead of 90% of drivers. But these next 8 tricks? This is where we separate the weekend warriors from the pros who never pay for repairs. 10. The fuel filter bypass. I've pulled fuel pumps killed by lifetime filters at just 80,000 miles. That's a $1,000 replacement. Walk into any dealership today and you'll hear the same line. You never have to change your fuel filter again. They'll call it a lifetime filter, tucked neatly inside the fuel tank, part of a sealed assembly that's supposedly good for the life of the car. But what they don't tell you is that lifetime doesn't mean forever. It means until the warranty expires. After that, you're on your own, and so is your fuel system. See, Modern cars use fine tolerance injectors that spray microscopic fuel mist into the combustion chamber. Over time, those lifetime filters begin to clog, starving the engine of consistent fuel flow. The symptoms creep in slowly: rough idle, sluggish throttle, a faint stumble under load. Most drivers blame it on age, bad gas, or spark plugs. But ask any veteran mechanic and they'll tell you it's almost always fuel restriction. That's where the fuel filter bypass trick comes in. It's one of those underground secrets mechanics have used for decades to keep old cars running like new. The idea is brilliantly simple. Install an external inline fuel filter between the tank and the engine bay, a transparent one rated for fuel injection pressure. With a clean, high-flow filter in that spot, you gain something car makers never intended: visibility. You can literally see what your fuel looks like before it reaches your injectors. Installation isn't rocket science, but it does require care. The fuel line is cut at a safe section before the engine bay. The new filter is clamped in, secured, and checked for leaks. From then on, maintenance becomes child's play. Once the filter turns dark, you know it's time. Swap it out for a $6 replacement and 5 minutes of work. Compare that to the alternative. 11. The MAF sensor cleaning that feels like magic. Pulling out the entire fuel tank, disassembling the pump assembly, and replacing a factory filter that wasn't meant to be touched. That's a $1,000 job at the dealer, easily avoided by this small preventive tweak. Seeing your car's health in that clear fuel filter? That's a small, satisfying rebellion against hidden parts and planned obsolescence. But clean fuel is just the start. True power ignites within the combustion chamber, where fire, pressure, and timing truly awaken your engine. The next trick is so risky, I debated even including it. One mistake costs $4,000. Done right, your engine runs 100,000 miles younger. Your mass airflow, MAF sensor, is the brain of your fuel system. It measures how much air enters your engine and tells the ECU how much fuel to mix in response. Over time, microscopic dust coats the sensor wire, tricking it into reading low, so the engine runs rich, wasting gas and killing spark plugs. Most people replace the sensor for $120 to $200. The illegal trick? Don't replace it, clean it. Unplug the sensor, spray it gently with MAF cleaner, never brake cleaner, let it dry 10 minutes. 12. The airbox, secret breather. And reinstall. That's it. The difference is instant. Smoother idle, sharper response, stronger mid-range pull. Yesterday, an SUV owner came in getting 14 miles per gallon. $8 of MAF cleaner later, 18 miles per gallon. That's $800 per year at current gas prices. Every dealership tech does this secretly before recommending a replacement, then bills you for the new sensor. But clean sensors mean little if your fuel system is fighting dirty fuel. Even a small amount of debris, a grain of rust, a speck of dirt, can cause a lot of problems. But there's a bypass you can use. Your airbox isn't just filtering air, it's limiting it. Manufacturers design intake systems to meet noise and emissions standards, not performance. That's why most stock intakes are full of resonators and narrow ducts that choke airflow. Here's the illegal trick. Drill a few small holes. 13. The oxygen sensor shortcut on the cold side of the airbox, the section before the filter, to let in additional cool air. Don't touch the hot side near the engine. Cooler, denser air means better combustion and quicker throttle response. It's not about creating a loud, cold air roar. It's about giving your engine the oxygen it's been asking for. One Civic owner I worked with gained 2 miles per gallon and smoother acceleration just from 3 half-inch holes hidden under the airbox lid. Cost? 5 minutes and a drill bit. But the airbox trick only works if what comes after it, the sensors, are reading the truth. And you wouldn't guess for simple, you can circumvent this. 3 holes, 5 minutes, instant improvement. But it only works if your sensors aren't lying to the computer. Dealer wanted $280 to replace a customer's O2 sensor yesterday. Oxygen sensors monitor your exhaust gases and tell the ECU how much fuel to mix with air. Over time, carbon buildup slows their response, making your engine run rich, wasting gas and fouling plugs. Most people replace them every 100,000 miles. That's expensive. Instead, pull the sensors out, soak the tips overnight in gasoline or sensor-safe cleaner, and reinstall. The refresh costs nothing and restores sensor accuracy, improving mileage and reducing hesitation. I've saved customers over $10,000 with this one trick in the last year alone. It's the kind of illegal mechanic trick that saves hundreds and feels like your engine just woke up. But that's only the beginning. In the next section, I'll tell you about one of the tricks that actually cross into "don't let your mechanic see this" territory. This one will change the way your car breathes, burns, and performs altogether. Say, 14. The spark plug gap adjustment. Nobody mentions. Every spark plug comes pre-gapped. But pre-gapped just means vaguely adjusted at the factory. In 20 years, I've never seen a properly pre-gapped plug from factory. In real-world engines, even a few thousandths of an inch off can mean the difference between perfect combustion and wasted fuel. Here's the mechanic's secret. Set the gap slightly tighter than factory spec, about 0.02 inches less. This small change strengthens the spark under load, improving throttle response and idle stability. I tested it on a customer's Mazda 3 that idled rough. Tightened the plug gaps by 0.02 inches, idle smoothed instantly, acceleration sharpened, fuel economy rose by a full mile per gallon. That's a $200 dealer tune-up for free. No manufacturer endorses it because it tweaks EPA testing parameters and can alter emissions, hence the illegal tag. But it's harmless for everyday drivers who want sharper throttle response. But even the perfect spark can't help an engine suffocating from dirty sensors. And that's where the next trick changes everything. Quick reminder, if you're enjoying this, hit that subscribe button now. 15. The transmission flush hack. Ask a dealership if you should flush your transmission fluid, and they'll usually say no, sealed for life. But sealed for life means sealed until warranty expires. I've replaced 46 transmissions that died right after warranty. After that, sludge and varnish begin choking the fluid passages and solenoids, making shifts lazy or jerky. The illegal workaround? Do a partial drain and refill every 10,000 to 15,000 miles instead of waiting 60,000. Each time you replace only a third of the fluid, but over 3 changes, you've replaced nearly all of it. This method keeps the system clean without shocking it, avoiding the failure risk of a full flush. Customer brought me a slipping Civic at 120,000 miles. Dealer wanted $3,800 for rebuild. Instead of replacing the transmission, we did 3 partial drain/refills over a month. By the third, shifts were crisp. The car felt new. Total cost, $120. Manufacturers won't tell you this because lifetime fluid makes servicing cheaper for them. But that trick saves transmissions from early death every day. 16. The secret intake cleaning that feels like adding horsepower. Pop the hood of any car with over 30,000 miles and look at the throttle body or intake manifold. Chances are you'll find a black sticky coating. That's carbon buildup from oil vapor and fuel residues. Wanna guess the fix? Dealer quoted a customer $347 last month for intake cleaning, but you can do it for $8 and 15 minutes with a can of CRC intake valve cleaner or Seafoam. Here's how. Warm the engine, then spray the cleaner directly into the intake while holding the RPM around 2000. The engine will stumble, smoke, and cough. That's normal. You're burning years of carbon off the valves. Once the smoke clears, it'll idle smoother, pull harder, and feel 10 years younger. That customer's Accord gained 3 miles per gallon. At current prices, that's $400 per year saved. A Toyota Camry that shook at idle ran like silk afterward. It's technically illegal only because manufacturers don't want you spraying chemicals into your air system. But it's the same process dealerships charge big money for. But even a clean intake can't save you from what's quietly destroying your transmission. Modern cars use Let's kick things off. 17. The throttle body reset trick. Tronic throttle control. A computer regulates how far your throttle opens when you press the gas. Over time, that system develops learned habits based on how you drive. Slow starts, soft acceleration, low rev limits. Dealers charge $150 for this exact same recalibration. But here's the thing, the computer never forgets those habits, even after you change your oil, air filter, or plugs. It just keeps driving like you're scared of the gas pedal. The illegal trick? You can reset that behavior in under a minute. No tools, no parts. Turn the key to on without starting the engine. Press the gas pedal to the floor for 10 seconds. Turn the key off, release the pedal, then wait another 10 seconds before starting. This wipes the throttle learning data and forces the ECU to relearn fresh, like giving your car a clean personality slate. I did this on a customer's Camry last week. He texted me, feels 20% faster. Drivers report instant throttle response improvements and smoother idle within minutes. It's a simple trick, but one manufacturers rarely advertise because it exposes how often cars are running below potential right out of the gate. But clean throttle response means nothing if your engine's choking on carbon that's been building for years.